Hi everyone, this is Dr. Prabjot Singh. So I'm back. I'm back in order to make a video. This video will be about the pharyngeal arches, basically embryological development of face, head and neck. Basically, so this is about embryological development of head and neck. Again, a disclaimer: medical knowledge is ever changing. So what I am teaching today might change tomorrow. But as per today, this is the latest information available in the textbooks. So again, this video is not meant to supplement any lecture. This is based for the MCQ exams. Okay. So all of you can reach me on my Instagram for any doubts. That goes by the name of S Prabjot. My name is Dr. Prabjot Singh. So let's begin. So we'll begin with the topic of pharyngeal arches. Okay, so there are total 6 of them, but the fifth one, this gets basically your obliterated, you can say, or degenerated, you can say. So this does not exist. So we are left with 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6. First and second, it is formed at 4th week of intrauterine life. Rest all are formed at 5th week of intrauterine life. All these cartilages, they have 4 components. All these arches, they have 4 components. The first component is your skeletal component, muscular component, nervous component, and the vascular component. So skeletal component forms the cartilages, ligaments, bones, all these structures. Muscular component, muscles. Nervous component, nerves. Vascular component, the blood vessels. So coming on to the first one. The first one is known as your Meckel's cartilage. So what is formed from Meckel's cartilage under skeletal component? So it forms your bones of face, malleus, incus. Stapes is not formed. Stapes is formed from your Richard's cartilage. That is the second. Bones of the face, malleus, incus, sphenomandibular ligament, and the anterior ligament of malleus. So 5 structures are formed: bones of the face, malleus, anterior ligament of malleus, incus, sphenomandibular ligament. Now coming on to the muscular component. What is formed from the muscular component? From muscular component, you have your mastication muscles, are formed. Anterior belly of digastric, mylohyoid, tensor tympani, and last one is your tensor palatii. Now comes your nervous component. Nervous component over here, it is from the V3. V3 means mandibular branch of trigeminal. All of you must be knowing trigeminal is your 5th cranial nerve. It has 3 branches: V1, V2, V3. We label them as ophthalmic, maxillary, and mandibular. So this is your mandibular one, that is printed over here. Vascular component is your maxillary artery. So all these structures, they will be supplied by this nerve and this artery. That's how it goes. Now coming on to the second one, the second pharyngeal arch, it is known as your Richard's cartilage. over here everything usually most of the things they are from S, like stapes, superior, great superior half, superior horn, like that everything is from the S over here. So we'll begin with the skeletal component first, that is your stapes except the foot plate. Foot plate is formed from the bony labyrinth that you will study in ENT. Okay, except the foot plate was stapes, styloid process, and then comes the superior half of body of hyoid, lesser horn, or also known as your superior horns. Lower horns are known as your greater horns. Okay, superior horns of hyoid and your stylohyoid ligament. Coming on to the muscular component, stapedial muscle, stylohyoid muscle. Okay, so in first one we had this thing, anterior belly of digastric. Over here in second one we have posterior belly of digastric. In first one we had the bones of the face. In second one we are going to have muscles of facial expression. So four things from the muscular component: stapedial muscle, stylohyoid muscle, posterior belly of the digastric, muscles of the facial expression. Over here the nerve is your facial nerve, that is cranial nerve number 7, and this arch has no vascular component. Okay, now coming on to the third one, the skeletal component. The skeletal component is going to be what was left over here, this and this. So superior half of the body was in second, so over here we have the inferior half of the body, inferior half of body of hyoid, and along with that we have your this thing, the inferior horns, also known as your greater horns, because they are big in size but they are originating at a low level, so they are known as inferior horns, greater horn. And then coming on to the muscular component, we have your glossopharyngeal muscle, stylopharyngeal muscle. Nerve supply will be your cranial nerve number 9, that is your glossopharyngeal nerve, and the arterial component will be common carotid artery and internal carotid artery. Fourth and the sixth we are going to study together. Over here skeletal component, muscular component, nervous component, vascular component. Okay, so basically fourth and sixth are associated with your larynx and pharynx. Larynx and pharynx, they have various cartilages. So all the cartilages of the larynx are formed from the fourth arch. All cartilages of larynx except arytenoids. Okay, so sixth one will form your arytenoid. Coming on to the muscular component, it forms, firstly write for the sixth one, all muscles of larynx and pharynx except cricothyroid. So cricothyroid will come in fourth one. Coming on to the nerve supply, both of them are supplied by cranial nerve number 10, that is the vagus, but different branches. The fourth one is supplied by the superior laryngeal nerve, the sixth one is supplied by the recurrent laryngeal nerve. Coming on to the vascular component, the fourth one, it forms your arc of aorta and right subclavian artery. Right subclavian artery. Okay. So the sixth one, it forms the ductus arteriosus, and it forms your pulmonary arteries. Pulmonary arteries are the one that are carrying deoxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart, and ductus aortus. The fourth one is forming your arch of aorta and the right subclavian. Now right subclavian is formed from the fourth arch, but then what about left subclavian? What about this one? So left subclavian is formed from the seventh cervical intersegmental artery, that is from the left seventh cervical intersegmental artery. Getting my point? This was about your arches, pharyngeal arches. Now we'll talk about the pharyngeal pouches and the pharyngeal clefts, but before that I'll explain you one short diagram. So this is how it is. One, two. Let me just draw it again for you. Okay, so it is bilaterally like this. So this is your pouch, this one, the inner aspect. This is your pouch, okay, and this is your cleft, the outer one. This whole of it is your arch, whereas this one that is in the middle is your membrane. I'll label them up for you. So before that, these are the three layers. Like this is your ecto, this is your endo, and in between is your meso. Okay. So this one that is formed from the endoderm. The form from the endoderm is known as your endodermal pouch. Endodermal pouch. This is known as your ectodermal cleft. Okay, so about the mesodermal one, let me just specify it much more better for you. This is like the one that is formed from the inner structure, okay, not from inner structure, that is from your mesoderm. This is your mesodermal arch or the pharyngeal arch, also known as your branchial arch. It is called branchial arch because it represents the gills of fish. And this one that is from all three layers, this is your pharyngeal membrane. Remember one structure that is formed from the pharyngeal membrane, that is your tympanic membrane. Tympanic membrane has three components: ectodermal, endodermal and mesodermal. Now we will talk about the pouches, endodermal pouches, also known as your pharyngeal pouches. Okay, so the first pouch has your two components. ventral component, dorsal component. Same way second pouch has your dorsal and ventral. Why I'm writing like this, you'll just come to know. Ventral, dorsal, dorsal, ventral. Why I have written it like this. Ventral component of first one, it gets obliterated. Both these dorsal components, they club together to form tubotympanic recess. Tubotympanic recess. This tubotympanic recess has again two components, that is your proximal and distal. Okay, so the proximal component, it forms your eustachian tube, also known as your pharyngotympanic tube. Pharyngotympanic tube. And the distal one, it forms your middle ear cavity. That forms your middle ear as well as your mastoid antrum. Okay, so this ventral of the second part, it forms your palatine tonsil. Okay, now coming on to the third one. Third one forms your inferior, third pharyngeal pouch, inferior parathyroid, also thymus. We'll talk about these two when we'll talk about them in bit more detail very soon. I mean to say that. Fourth one, it forms your superior parathyroid and your thyroid. Thyroid may it forms your follicular cells. The fifth one, it forms your ultimobrachial body. That forms your parafollicular C cells. Over here is a catch. Some books mention it like this, whereas some mention it like all of them are formed from the fourth. Some books mention that all of it is formed from the fourth. From the fifth one, nothing is formed. So this is a catch, unfortunately. Now a very small part that is left, that is like in this diagram, there was something, the ectodermal cleft. Now we need to just talk about it, and it will just take 2 more minutes because there is something very important about this, about ectodermal cleft. Earlier it was said that the first cleft, it forms your external ear, that is pinna. But now recent studies has proved that first cleft is not forming pinna anymore. It is now said it is formed from the first brachial arch itself, from the ectodermal component. Remember that swelling kind of a thing? In the diagram, this swelling kind of a thing. This was your endoderm, this was your ectoderm, this was your mesoderm. So the first arch was getting formed from here. So it has some ectodermal component over here. This is forming your pinna, not this one. Okay. So this is all about your pharyngeal arches. Pharyngeal arches, head and neck,